note the meeting will be recorded, audio and video. The video is located on YouTube. Items on the agenda may be taken out of order. The board may combine two or more agenda items for consideration. The board may remove an item from the agenda or delay discussion relating to an item at any time. No action may be taken on any matter not listed on the posted agenda. All planning and zoning matters heard at this meeting are forwarded to the Board of County Commissioners Zoning Commission or the Clark County Planning Commission for final action. Please turn off or mute all cell phones and other electronic devices. Please take all private conversations outside the room. The 48-hour advance request, a sign language interpreter, or other reasonable efforts to assist and accommodate persons with physical disabilities may be made available by calling 702-455-3530 and also at Relay Nevada 800-326-6868. Supporting material provided to board members for this meeting may be requested from Tammy Harris at 702-298-0828. And supporting material will also be available at Clark County Department of Administrative Services, 500 South Grand Central Parkway, 6th floor, Las Vegas, Nevada. Supporting material will also be available on the county's website at clarkcountynv.gov/searchlight tab. Board members: Kyle Myers, Chairperson; James Allen, Vice Chairperson; Kim Colton, Natalie Jeter, and Kayla McGinnis. Secretary Tammy Harris and County Liaison Mark Moskowitz. It's time we call the meeting to order. If we now rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Moving on to roll call. Kyle Myers here. James Allen.
Here.
Kim Colton. Natalie Jeter. And Kayla McGinnis.
Here.
All right, 3 present and 2 absent. And moving on to public comment. This is a period devoted to comments by the general public about items on this agenda. No discussion, action, or vote may be taken on this agenda item. You will be afforded the opportunity to speak on individual public hearing items at the time they are presented. If you wish to speak to the board about items within its jurisdiction but not appearing on this agenda, you must wait until the comments by the general public period listed at the end of this agenda. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Please step up to the speaker's podium. If applicable, clearly state your name and address, and please spell your last name for the record. If any member of the board wishes to extend the length of a presentation, this will be done by the chairperson of the board by majority vote. Do we have any comments? All right, and moving on to approval of the minutes for May 15th, 2024. I'd like to motion we approve the minutes for May 15th, 2024.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed 3-0. And approval of the agenda for June 12th, 2024, and hold, combine, or delete any items.
Make a motion to approve.
I second that motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed 3-0. And informational items. Item number 1, receiver report and updates from the South County Liaison Mark Moskowitz on Commissioner Neff's Memorial Day service at the Searchlight Cemetery, the ribbon cutting for the splash pad and playground, and any other updates from Clark County.
Perfect. Thank you, Chair. First, I just want to thank everyone for attending the Memorial Day celebration or at the cemetery. Commissioner Knapp was able to attend, and I want to thank Joan very much for inviting us again. It was well received, and Commissioner Knapp always loves coming here and enjoying the Memorial Day remembrance and everything with the community. So thank you so much for letting him be a part of that. Unfortunately, I was out of town, but he told me it was wonderful again, as always. So thank you. Other exciting news: on Saturday, we did the ribbon cutting for the splash pad and the playground. We had so much fun. Commissioner Knapp was out here with his kids, and everyone came with their kids as well. So much fun. We had donuts from Pink Box Donuts. Such a great time. I had a blast there. Thank you everyone for coming out. I know there was a few little issues. I know one of the slides got stuck with it. It was tearing some pants. I was lucky to be the first person to get their pants torn, but I can rest assured that RPM came out there and they fixed it. It was a little loose little bolt or something that was catching stuff. So that has been fixed. The other thing is the splash pad is kind of turning off at 4 o'clock. However, tomorrow they're going to be out there and it should be extended to about 7:30. So that we're very excited, but it looks great. I want to thank Metro for being there as well for the ribbon cutting. One big thing, since I know we have such a beautiful a new park and splash pad, this is that 1 year kind of warranty period. So if you see anything that's weird, like clothes gets caught on something, or maybe some pieces on the park aren't moving correctly, or the splash pad is maybe shooting the wrong way, please don't keep it yourself. Let us know. Let somebody on the town board know. They'll get a hold of me, because this is a really good time that we can let RPM know and Park Pro who did it what to fix. That's because usually they don't have kids test out the park before it opens, so this is kind of now our trial period. But like I said, anything you see that doesn't seem right or doesn't fit right, or maybe there's a bolt that you touch when you hold onto something, please don't keep it yourself. Let us know, because it's important that we can get it fixed during this time. So that's just my little PSA for that. Few other things. I know last month we talked about the internet at the school. Right after that, I spoke with the school district. It had been up and running for about a week. What the problem was, it was actually a Cox line that was in the ground that they had to fix or something. So that has all been fixed and resolved. So I appreciate James for bringing that to our attention, and we were able to get that fixed pretty quickly. So that was good. One other thing, I know I don't want to take away from Metro, but I know Lieutenant Rogers mentioned to me this morning that during Memorial Day, he was able to have a few extra officers on Cottonwood Cove to help with the traffic of the tourists that come in, and they were able to write quite a few citations, so that was good. So I appreciate that as well, and Lieutenant Rogers wanted me to pass that along. The other thing is we have our newsletters as always. I don't have any with me today, but I know a lot of people are on the email feed of them, so let me know if you'd like to copy. We'll get some here probably later this week or next week. And then the last thing is I just want to remind everyone this Friday is Flag Day, so it's important to remember that and celebrate it as you seem appropriate. So thank you so much. And with that, those are all of my updates.
Thank you, Mark. Does anyone have any questions for South County Liaison Mark Moskowitz? Okay. All right, and moving on to item number 2, receive a report from Metro Police regarding activity and statistics during the past month and other area crime concerns.
Hey, good evening, folks. Good evening, folks. My name is Sergeant Gene Gallagher. I work out of the Walton substation. I do think the park looks great. It's great for the town. It's really nice. Going back to what Mark was talking about, we had some extra officers over the Memorial Holiday weekend working Cottonwood Cove. They wrote 90 citations, which is a fair amount with the voters and the traffic that comes to town. So that's what you're speaking of. And moving through the summer with the holidays, we'll be addressing that as well as the holidays come up. Going as far as our stats go for Searchlight, calls for service, that's when somebody calls 911 or 311, we get a call. They were up a little over 15%. Last year, there were 26 calls. This year, there were 30. We wrote a total of 90 citations in town. Most of them were mostly on Cottonwood Cove. There were no DUIs. We didn't have any battery domestic violent arrests up here. There's no bookings. It was kind of a quiet month. And now that school is out, with the kids not in school and what have you, just keep an eye on the kids. And if you need something, give us a call. We're here to help. And if anybody has any questions, I'll try to answer your question.
Any questions out there for Metro? Anything from the board? All right, thank you, officer.
Thank you for your time.
And item number 3, receive a report from Kim Colton, Searchlight Volunteer Fire District regarding calls for service during the past month and other fire prevention issues. We don't have any report to provide tonight. And item number 4, receive a report from Sandra Yasinchak with Justice Court regarding statistics and other activities during the past month. Sandra is not here with us. We have the report though. Okay, for the month of May 2024, there were 15 arraignments, 25 status checks, 27 all hearings trials, 236 new civil citations filed, 122 criminal misdemeanor citations filed, 5 probable cause, 4 new criminal complaints filed from the district attorney, 287 cases closed, and 37 new active warrants. Court dates for criminal are June 4th and June 18th, and traffic was June 5th and June 19th, which is a holiday, so no court. All court dates are open to the public and begin at 10 a.m. And item number 5, receive a report from Kathy Flanagan with Las Vegas Valley Water District regarding the status of the water system.
Hi, good evening. Kathy Flanagan, Las Vegas Valley Water District. Super short report tonight. Searchlight's water use for May 2024 was 3,710,000 gallons. That was just a slight increase of 10,000 gallons when compared to May of 2023. And during May, there was no major leaks or service line breaks. That's all I've got tonight, unless you have questions.
Any questions out there for Kathy with the water district? Anything from the board? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Item number 6, receive a report from Will Smith with Clark County Water Reclamation District regarding the status of the wastewater system and water usage. Kayla, you want to go ahead and read that one?
So for May of 2024, treated an average of 42,000 gallons per day. 2023 had an average of 41,000 gallons per day. It's a difference of, or increased by 1,000 gallons per day from last year at this time. No sewer service complaints for the month, 0 call before you dig tickets, and on the back is a monthly flow comparison.
Thank you, Kayla. And item number 7, receive a report from Michelle Brown with Searchlight Betterment Organization. Right, and the SBO would like to thank everyone who came out to Taco Tuesday. Your support means a lot to us. Unfortunately, we'll have to be raising prices at our next one in January due to the rising costs of food and supplies. Be assured that everything will still be just as yummy as always, and maybe even a little dessert surprise thrown in. We will be co-sponsoring, along with Commissioner Knapp, 2 town cleanups, and then in the very near future, the first will tentatively be from June 21st through June 23rd. The bins for dumping will be in the empty lot across from the Roadhouse Casino. A big thank you to Terrible Herbs for allowing us to use their property for staging. The second event will be on September 27th through the 29th. Bins will be in the same area. We are researching, along with Commissioner Knapp's office, the possibility of a hazardous materials bin for paints, oils, etc., and the pickup of old electronic and appliances. This would be for the September event only, and we will make sure the community knows beforehand if this option becomes available. Coming soon by popular demand, the SBO Cowboy Miner shirts will be available on Facebook through the Custom Ink fundraising. They will be $25 each, and the hoodies will be $20 each. This is a fundraiser for the SBO, and we need to sell at least 40 shirts for the SBO to get any benefit out of it. And so make sure to get your orders in. June 29th, there will be a fun-filled day in the Searchlight Town Park. We are partnering with the Clark County Library District and Commissioner Knapp for a summer festival. The SBO will be providing a 20-foot water slide and outdoor games. There will be food, prizes, crafts, and lots of smiles. Put it on your calendar, and we hope to see you all there. Any questions for the SBO? All right. And moving on to item number 8, receive a report and information from Maria O'Brien with Help of Southern Nevada regarding services. Maria wasn't able to make it tonight. Hopefully we'll have her at a future meeting. Item number 9, receive a report from Parks and Recreation regarding the status of programs and upcoming activities. Do we have a report from Parks and Rec? Okay. No report from Parks and Rec tonight either. Item number 10, receive a report from Kelly Lure, Southern Clark County Coordinator with UNR Extension regarding the status of programs and upcoming activities.
Hi, Kelly Lair, UNR Extension. UNR Extension began a Literature in the Garden themed summer class it's the beginning of the Junior Master Gardener Certification Program. We're pretty proud of that in the Horticulture Department for UNR. We've had 7 students attend regularly since we started about 3 weeks ago. It's here in the library. We'll take more if there's anybody that's interested in something cool and free to do this summer. It runs Wednesdays from 3 to 4 through July 24th, just including next week because it's Juneteenth. Older participants are awarded an actual certificate if they complete certain tasks that they do, and the tasks are hands-on activities. Today they dissected flowers so they could see the parts, and that's one of the activities. So they're having fun when they're doing it, and it's for the older kids, it's something neat to put on an application. We do have some junior high kids and some high school kids that are helping out and getting some volunteer hours as well, and I think they're having just as much fun. Devin and I assisted with SBO and community volunteers with filling the new garden beds out back last month. So the community can apply for a plot. It's a little 4x4 plot. It's free, and you can start planting. I know it's not ideal with the weather, but there are some plants this time in southern Nevada that will grow. I brought some applications with me, so afterwards, if you're interested, it's really just kind of a contract, and you need to disclose that you're not going to plant cactus and sunflowers and marijuana and all the things that you shouldn't. So it's just a contract, and because UNR Extension is the one who leased the land from Clark County, that it does go through my office, but Michelle also has some applications if you're interested. We're still awaiting word from the county regarding the tie-in of the water for the irrigation. So Michelle goes out daily and hand waters, and Devin and I, every time we come through town, we go out and hand water with the spigot. So it's fairly intense right now as far as the labor is concerned, but it's not a big deal. If you want to plant and you want to start growing stuff, we will help you out with the water. We will be in attendance at the Summer Festival at the end of the month to assist Searchlight, SBO, and the library with their event in the park. We have hope of having reading stations for some live animals that we're going to bring. Devin does this in Boulder City through her Devin's Garden, and it's a successful program. So right now we have a rooster, a chicken, a tortoise, a turtle, and we're hoping for a goat. And the kids read to the animals. They do it at the animal shelter in Boulder City, and they really love it. And then they will create a book and draw the animal that they read to. So we're really still working on that literacy. Last week we had one high school student attend the overnight camp in Alamo that we offer. He enjoyed it so much he wants to volunteer and teach the younger some music curriculum in the fall. So we're looking into that and really trying to include that junior high and high school age and maybe do something a little different on Fridays for them. Just because we have kindergarten through high school, and I think we need to separate those two age groups. We also would like to look at having a day camp for the elementary school at some point where we can do a field trip to the actual campsite in Alamo. It's absolutely beautiful. We do a junior high program coming up the beginning of July. I didn't get any takers from Searchlight. I am taking a young man from Laughlin, and so we're really starting from scratch out here, but I'm excited because they come back and then they tell everybody else about what a great time they had. And so that's what we want to do. We got a grant, and so it lowered the cost of the camp. So it was really it was $50 to go for 3 nights and 4 days to this camp, and they kept the kids busy and just had fun, from tie-dyeing to archery to team building games and water games. It's just a fun-filled 4 days, and I think they want to go back every year now. I've also dropped off some healthy living brochures from that department at UNR. They're in the back on the back table, and I will deliver more to Joan at the senior center this week when I see her. And that's it for me. Are there any questions for me?
Any questions out there for Kelly with 4-H?
Sure.
Is that the Girl Scout camp in Alamo that you go to?
So it used to be utilized, it might have been Girl Scouts, but it used to be utilized for like adult retreats.
Okay.
And it's a huge log building, and it has dormitories in it. Absolutely beautiful. I have pictures on my phone if any of you are interested in it, but it's acres and acres of land, actually cooler in temperature, and farms on both sides, so they're woken up with the roosters and the chickens and horses, and it's a beautiful location.
My son had a great time. He looks forward to going back every year. So, anything from the board for Kelly? All right, thank you so much, Kelly. Item number 11, receive a report from Tyler Young with Searchlight Library regarding current and upcoming programs.
Hi, I'm Michael Chapman, the library assistant here at the Searchlight Library, to tell you about some upcoming programs that we have. We're right in the middle of summer right now as far as the summer reading program, even though summer hasn't really officially started. But we have a reading program for both adults as well as children. So we encourage people of all ages to read about 20 minutes a day. And if you do, we have a little guide where you color it in, and when you finish certain levels, you bring it to us, and we have all kinds of prizes both for adults as well as for children. And that will continue all the way through the end of next month. For this month, we had a really successful mandala workshop. We had someone come who's a professional at mandala workshops, and came here from away from the library, and we had 11 people come to that program, which is a fantastic number for us. And we have one more program with people coming to entertain, and that is some BMX stunt bicyclists who will be here on Friday, the 28th at 1 p.m. right out here in the parking lot. I know that it's just pavement, but they're professionals, and they wear helmets. And I've been trying to get them to come here ever since I started here a few years ago, and it's finally happening. So I'm very excited about this program that they'll be here for. Other things going on this month. Tomorrow we have in the library sand painting at noon. And next week on Tuesday the 18th, we have sewing right inside this room in conjunction with Parks and Rec. We have our monthly painting earlier than we normally do. We're going to have it on the 20th at 11:30. And then on the 21st, we'll have a solar astronomy program. If you have a calendar, that's not on it because this was a late edition. So someone will come here, a professional astronomer, and show the day sky at noon. So that'll be nice. We have the book club on Saturday, the 22nd at 2 o'clock. And the summer celebration in conjunction with the Searchlight Betterment Organization, as well as Commissioner Knapp's office, will be at 2 p.m. at Searchlight Park on Saturday, the 29th. And then the only thing we have scheduled so far for next month is the Under the Sea Story Time for Children. And I'm doing this every 3 weeks. It's at 11 o'clock. I make it really fun. I teach the kids about different aquatic animals and show a small video pertaining to an aquatic animal. And I've had different people come so far, and it's for children of all ages, but mostly the younger crowd. But anyone can come to that. And that's all I have.
Lots of fun activities coming to the Searchlight Library this summer. Do we have any questions out there for the library? Anything from the board? All right, thank you. All right, item number 12, receive a report from Kyle Myers regarding current road conditions and public works concerns. I have nothing to report, but if anyone would like to make a comment on any public works concerns? Worked with Mark over here about a new Cottonwood Cove sign. I know there's been a lot of complaints in the past of where it's placed on Highway 95. So we didn't get a new one on 95, but we did have one placed on the solar street light right as you turn onto Cottonwood Cove Road. So at least people that are having a hard time finding it, they'll know that they're on the right road when they turn. So thank you, Mark, for your help with that.
And thank you for bringing that forward to us, and hopefully that'll help to direct some traffic stuff.
I agree. All right, and moving on to item number 13, announcements of upcoming neighborhood meetings and county or community meetings and events.
I have two real quick. I forgot to mention during my update. These are more of just a save the date. Last year we did the kind of back to school health fair. That was very successful. Tentatively, right now we're looking at doing that on August 9th. That's a Friday. It's right before school starts on Monday the 12th. So there'll be some more information coming out in the next few weeks on that. And then the other kind of save the date is the animal vaccine clinic that we're doing. This will be our third year, which we're very excited about. We're looking at doing that on September 21st. So that's a Saturday, and that'll be at the fire station again. So we're just getting that all confirmed and buttoned up, but I just want to put that on people's calendars because they're two really good events, as well as all the other great events in Searchlight. So
That's great news. Thank you, Mark. Any other announcements out there?
How often are these meetings?
The second Wednesday of every month. Any announcements from the board? Okay. All right, moving on to planning and zoning. Item 1, UC-24-0213 Searchlight Mercantile Co. Use permits for the following: mining, rock crushing, and gravel pit. Waiver of development standards to increase sound level. Design reviews for the following: mining, rock crushing, gravel pit, and final grading plan for a hillside development on 28-acre portion of 183.31 acres in an RS80 residential single-family 80 zone and an H2 general highway frontage zone, generally located on the west side of US 95, 1,300 feet south of Hobson Street within Searchlight. Is there an applicant?
Good evening, it's good to be with you. My name is Fraser Smith, and I'm with a small mining company. And we're working with Searchlight Mercantile Company, who is the land owner in the property back there. And some 6 years ago, there was a use permit initially granted for the same activities that we're talking about at this time. And we're back for renewal of that because the intent is to try and mine some of that property. There are, as you know, a Searchlight town site came about historically because of the mining, and there are some minerals that are still back there in that particular area. So as a background, the default zoning for any property that's basically on the outskirts of town sites, that is not in general usage, is an RS80. And RS80 is generally one single-family residence within about a 2-acre parcel. So you can't put houses close together. These would be houses that are about 2 acres on each lot. And that's the default that the county places on it. So any other usage of the property, despite this being privately owned by Searchlight Mercantile Company, any usage other than the residential requires a special use permit and special application. So that is what we're going through again. The planning and zoning rules are found in a document called Title 30. Title 30 was republished this spring. It came out in the county, and as opposed to some of the previous documents, it has some other requirements for sound and some other things. And so the waivers that we're seeking for this have to do with the sound. Everything else is in a general compliance from the way I understand it, but it does require a design review. So that's the reason for this, is for the use permit, to have that granted, and to present the waiver. So the issue at hand has to do with the noise. So we will be, during daylight hours, there will be some excavation going on, some rock crushing. which is similar to normal gravel pits and so on. And that there is some noise associated with that. On this side of the freeway or on this side of the mountain or the large hill over there, I don't know how much of that sound is going to propagate this direction, but we will be exceeding some of the residential or RS-80 valuations for that sound. And the nighttime sound will be virtually, it'll be low because all activities will be within a building that's proposed on the property over there. I'm glad to be associated with this project. I've gotten, in the last couple of weeks, I've gotten a couple of calls from some residents and some of the great people out here, and there's been really good support for it. People would like to see something happen in the community, and that support's been appreciated. We're really hoping to go forward with this. A lot of our plans hinge on outside financing and additional financing to what our companies put in. So there's some difficulties in that, as there is in any business, but things are in better shape than they have been in the past few years with the price of minerals the way they are. And it's a great opportunity because it will bring some employment to the area. We're planning on crews anywhere from 5 to 12 people on site at a time, and then as things grow, which will take a few months, then the staffing requirements will probably enlarge, and we'll need more people out there. And of course, we're hoping to fill those jobs with people from Searchlight and try and support the community and help the community in any way we can. I have brought some maps or some aerials that I can show people where the activity is going to be, but it's basically the historic site of the Quartet mine, which the Quartet was the largest active mine, the largest producer in the Searchlight district back in the day. The mine was fairly active up until, if my memory serves me correctly, about 1920, something like that, 1918. And then there was arson on the property. A lot of the underground workings were burned out, and there was cave-ins and things like that. Thereafter, everything diminished, and the activities kind of slowed down. Being the largest mine in the area and having one of the better deposits, or the best deposit, in my opinion, there's still a lot of mineralization in some of that soil, and that's what we'd like to see if we can have an opportunity to look for it and mine it. As a background of our company, we're a conglomeration of just individuals, private people. We are not associated with a large mining company. This is the only mining project that we're concentrating on or have, we're planning to work. I am a registered professional civil and structural engineer and have a practice in the Las Vegas area, and have been working on this project for quite a few years. And during those years, we've gone through the permitting process with the state of Nevada. So we have received all of our mining permits, which also include pollution control permits, water control permits, all from the state of Nevada. And we also have reclamation requirements. Reclamation requirements would be when the mining winds down on the property, we have certain requirements for revegetation, cleaning up, drainage, and things like that. And anyone who's familiar with the property understands that there's some trash out there. It's not as attractive as it needs to be. And as the project goes forward, that's part of what we're going to be doing, is cleaning that up, putting a very small facility out there, and going forward. The planning The documents that have been presented to the county include a building out there, which is, I want to say 60 by 180, I may have that wrong. A small building there that's about 14, 15 feet high. And then there's a smaller, very small building, about 1,000 square foot, that's going to be beside it. And then the office trailer that's currently out there is going to be replaced or refurbished. And that's basically all the improvements that are going to be done building-wise on the site. Then there'll be some drainage work and some other stuff, and some specialized areas for the mining and so on that are going to go on out there. If you're familiar with that site, you also are aware that there's large areas with tailings that are out there. That's that kind of pink sandy material, very light material that blows around. We don't have permission from the state to touch that material, but as the mining processes go along and things accelerate, we're hoping to make application with them to be able to control that material, try and put some boundaries on it because it blows around and it's a little bit of a nuisance. But at the current time, we are not actually allowed to touch that material. Most of the mining, as it says on this application, is within a 28-acre area. It's actually smaller than that, but that's a good estimation with some of the storage areas and some of the stands that we'll be using out there. It's a good estimate of it. The total property is 183 acres, and as I said before, is owned by Searchlight Mercantile Company, who actually took possession of that land, I want to say in the 1920s, 1912, a long time. And a lot of the deeds for the property are patented mining claims that were signed by Roosevelt. Some of the documents are difficult to read, but there's a lot of history on that particular property, and we'd love to see it come back to London. So if there are any questions, we can do that, or if you'd like, I can show you where the things are going to go on. Take any questions.
Do you have like a poster board, or is it just on paper?
I was planning to maybe plug into the TV, but if it's not too informal, I can just roll it out and just gather around and look at it.
I'm fine with either. I think showing those would be good before we move forward.
Okay, let's do that. Shall I plug into the?
I don't have a problem. Yeah, we can do that. Absolutely.
No, that's a shame. Yeah, you can. So there's your guitars. This one. You got the DVD player with me.
Oh, yeah, put right on it. How many blood did it take?
Too many.
Two up here. Is it going? Come to like it. Hey. Things looking up.
Yeah, you should be all right.
Very small hands.
Yeah, I can help a little bit too, so you see that right there. There's three. Yeah, there's three buttons.
I guess that's as far as that cord will be.
Oh, he's moving it better.
Okay, that's good.
Is that good? That sun is coming right in from that.
Yeah, we got one reflection for that.
Oh, good, that's perfect.
Is that better?
That's good here.
Perfect.
Okay. So I'm sorry this is a little bit small, and I'm not the guy to be enlarging things. I'm not the best computer guy, but this is the historic Quartet mine site, and I'm gonna zoom out and show you what's there. But if you drew a circle around this right here, it would be about 30 acres. And this is the old historic tailings right here. The old mine stamp mill was right in here, where they used to dump off of this actual hill right here with the loop. So they'd actually bring the material up here, and they would crush it in the stamp mill right here and process it right in this particular area. So the vein that's got the mineralization in it is in this area right here, across here, and that same vein actually extends all the way over to 95 and just past 95 on the other side. But the best part of it is right in this location over here. There's other veins in the area with some of the other historic mines, but this is by far the biggest one in the area over there. So as we zoom out, this is just zooming out, this is the same area, and I'm just moving back so you can see the freeway. So this is the big mountain or hill right here, and the freeway. So the actual property, the 183 acres that's under application, extends basically from here across into here, is this area in here.
And by freeway, you mean US 95?
Yeah, this is 95 over here.
Okay.
So that property does come out and kind of touch right here down in this corner. So this is just zooming out a little bit more, and I hope you can see it from over there. So the town site's over here, and then you recognize the pink sand down here. that's where the mine site is. Basically, the 30 acres of activity is down here. All of our activity is going to be right there, basically contained. And our permits with the state of Nevada are currently only for 5 acres of disturbance. So it's a very small area that we're actually disturbing. But disturbing is actually digging, moving dirt, piles and things like that. The actual, with just storage and the other things, that's not really considered disturbance per se. I should have said that from this photograph right here, the new buildings that are going in are going right here. And right over here is the existing office. I think it's right there. The existing office, and then the new buildings are just right there. So if you're familiar with that property, if you've driven around back there, there's a lot of old junk, if I can call it that, that's been stored on this site here. And then on some of the other sites, particularly over here, we have quite a bit of junk and stuff that's out in this area, which is not very attractive. So this would be zooming out a little bit further, and then you can recognize the location right down here. So that gives you an idea of the location, and then I will see if I can find Is that showing up there?
Yeah.
So this is the area of, this is one of the 2 areas of disturbances. So the pink sands that we were looking at is down here in this part of this map right down here. These drawings that we're looking at are part of the permitted documents with the state of Nevada for the mining permits. And so delineation of where everything is and what dirt you're moving, how everything's going to drain, and everything was very important to them. So what we're doing is we're putting new buildings here where these pink boxes are at, the 2 buildings there. The existing trailer is in here. There's a loading dock and a drying area that's in here for some base metals. And then this is an excavation in here where we're putting a tailings storage area. So this, as I said before, this whole area down here is the pink sands that are existing, and we're going to add our own pink sands over in this rectangle over in here. So these topographic lines shows where that mound is, where that historic mound was. So the old stamp mill, it was actually just right in here. Oh, so the yellow is the historic trails or roads that are there, and they also are not to be disturbed. So they, other than watering them for dust control, they really don't want anything going on with those particular roads. We're able to widen some of it right in here and some of it just for the exit way, but beyond that, they really don't want any disturbance.
I'm sorry,
So what's going
could you
on?
point out the areas where the buildings would be developed? I don't think the board could see where you were. Oh,
Hey, really?
You don't have an extension cord.
Somebody's gonna have to turn that back on now. Some of those, was it this one?
Yeah, you have to get right in front of it.
Okay, there you go. Here we go. I may unplug it again, so now we can at least know how to turn it on. There we go. There it goes. Sorry about that. I'll be careful there. So the buildings are these pink rectangles here. So right here is kind of a larger building, and then a smaller, 1,000 square foot building. Let me see if I've got some elevations of those buildings. Well, why don't we just go through these one at a time? We'll come up on the building elevations here. So this is the property boundaries. So all this land in here that's bounded in this diagram is part of the 183 acres that Searchlight Mercantile owns. So as you can see, it stretches over here and actually butts up against US 95 over on this side over here. So they have all these parcels across here that sweep across here. On this same diagram, this is the Bishop residence, and then this is Mark Blair's residence right here in this corner. So this was important for both the state and the county to see where the residents were. And the circle that you see right here is a half mile radius from where the activity is. And then the pink right there, you can see that, is the activity, where the activity is going to occur in the site. If anyone has any questions, please just jump in.
I only had one. So you're saying that the roads that are there historically aren't going to be disturbed,
That's correct.
access roads to the properties back there, because all that wide area to the north, that's all my property. I just want to make sure that I have access to my land.
Yeah. So the only permission that we've been given is to do road work over here on our property if we want access over here.
Right.
That's it. So all of the historic roads, they really don't want them to be changed and stuff. They're really sensitive about maintaining the existing drainage.
Right.
So even though there's been a lot of activity back in here 100 years ago, where the drainage was kind of altered in all directions, they just don't want it to be altered any more than it is right now, just kind of left the way it is.
So you guys will be using the access road coming in front of Mike's place and just on the other side of Mark's into the kiosk that you guys have there already.
Yes, so the kiosk is just right in here somewhere.
And the road that goes into the kiosk,
Yeah, I've got a better shot of that. Or it's on one of these other sheets here, just give me a second. Yeah, this one, for instance, shows the edge of the property. Oh, the kiosk is not on here. But this is where the current fence is. It's there, which is not our property line. Our property line's up here, but that's the current fence. It's there. And we do appreciate those residents who've been giving us calls when the fence has been broken into or we've had other problems on site. We've just had untold problems on the site with things being broken into and stolen and everything else. And we did have someone staying on the land up till about, I guess it was mid-pandemic or so. It's been 1.5 years or 2 years. But since that time, they've just ravaged the place. And there's abandoned cars that we've pulled off of there, and I think there's another one that's back on there. We find abandoned electronics out there, TVs and stuff like that. There's already a lot of stuff out there from previous enterprises, but it's getting worse. So the yellow is the historic roads. And most of these back in here are from the old mine, but this is the primary one that goes right through, right there. And I do have another one that's out at a little further scale. Let's see if we can get to that one.
How much traffic do you expect going through in and out each day with trucks, city, estimate or?
Well, let me give you a quick explanation of the operation,
Okay.
which we can do from this one right here. So if you can see this, the pink rectangles are again the new buildings that are going in, the big building and the smaller building, and then the existing trailer that's right there. Then this right here is just a slab. So the minerals that we're after and what's out there is there's some gold, there's some silver, there's lead, and there's zinc. And the gold and silver are processed on site and are shipped off as very small quantities. So we don't have much traffic or transport related to that. The zinc and the lead is a product that's separated from the other dirt, if you will. It's separated, and then it's put on here and it's dried, and then it's scooped up and put in these kind of fabric sacks or super sacks that you see at the landscape stores and so on. And it's stored in here, and so there will be a truck that comes in here once, twice a week at most to pick those up, and away they go. The lead and the zinc is a secondary product, and we're not exactly sure of the quantities we're going to get, but it's a kind of a secondary thing. And if it's not very large, then the operation is still successful based on the gold and silver.
And to clarify, your access would be off of Hobson?
So the road that we were showing on the previous slide with the yellow, let me see if I can get back to that one. Yeah, this isn't a very good view, but I'm moving in right here. So the primary access is off of Hobson. So as they come out of here and they go down through this road, the bishop's residence is right here. The property line is in this area here. Then they would come off here and go right here to Hobson, or go north through there to Hobson. It's right there, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. And then the secondary exit is, as I said before, out this way up to 95.
Will you be utilizing the secondary exit?
Well, we do have to finish the road if we do that. And then the resident down there, Mr. Whipple, he's game for putting a new road in there. He'd like to see us put a road through his property to access our site. So we'll see how it goes on that. So the building itself,
So you guys will be surface mining. You won't be going into the holes.
so it is an open pit. So where I showed you where the vein is, which was over to the south and east a little bit from the buildings, we're going to be just following that vein. So we're just digging along that vein and doing an open pit right there. So the reclamation that I talked about with the state of Nevada and the requirements for the reclamation is mostly to do with the pit, and then secondarily with where we're storing our tailings. It's the reclamation. And the state of Nevada, right now the state of Nevada comes out actually yearly and looks at our property. When there's no activity, they come out every year. When there's activities, they're going to be out quarterly or more often. So they'll be monitoring the situation. Okay.
How deep is this hole going to be?
Well, right now we're thinking 300 to 400 feet. Kind of right along. So if you know that area, there's that mountain there, and that vein kind of slips down at a similar angle to that mountain down in there. So we're just going to be chasing that down in there.
Any chemicals used on the site?
No. So we are not using any chemicals. So what's really interesting about Searchlight area and makes it very special is that you still have what's called a coarse gold or a larger gold. And there's actually, at times, there's visible gold that can be seen with a naked eye. And by crushing it and then gravity separation, which is washing it, or a panning type of style, it can be separated. So tests have been run on the material out there, batch testing included in that, and it was found that that was successful in doing that. So there's no cyanide, there's none of the normal chemical processes that are going on there. And we're certainly not permitted to do that at all. Yes?
Will there be blasting?
No. So interestingly enough, the material out there, if you get right to the vein material, it's very fractured. And when you kind of hit it with just an excavator or hit it with something, it kind of breaks apart. It's a very fractured, so it's basically a rock that's been intruded by quartz and other material that have brought the mineralization up through it, and it's very fractured material. So there are some places out there where some of this rock is visible and it fractures. You can just hit it and it'll come apart. So no blasting.
Your application is up to 85 decibels where you're allowed 65. I was wondering if most of that sound comes from the extraction or from the actual rock crushing.
It's a combination of the rock crushing and the machinery.
You said the rock crushing was going to be 24 hours a day in your permit.
Oh, well, I hope it doesn't say that. That maybe the county that put that in there, or my letter.
Well, it says possibly 24 hours a day.
No. So we're not gonna be able to dig in the dark.
Well, not the digging. I'm just concerned it's going to be really loud at night.
No, we are not gonna be rock crushing at night.
Okay.
Because the rock crushing gets ahead of what's processed. So the extraction has to be done in the day because you're trying to pull out certain rock and leave other kind of rock there. So that's going to be done in the day, and then it directly goes into a crushing, an open crusher that's right there beside it. That's only going to happen during the day.
During the day, okay.
Well, I had a question about the sound at the 85 decibels. Where is that measured from, just on the site or?
Right next to it.
Okay,
So,
so it won't be 85 for the whole town, just in that little area?
yeah, and if you go online and pull up Title 30 and look at their noise thing in there, you need to have a degree in that stuff to understand what it's talking about. Because it talks about decibels and then it talks about frequencies. So it could be loud, but if it's a low frequency, that might be okay. If it's a high frequency, maybe only your dog hears it. So it's really, there's a lot of subjectivity in that noise. And we had a hard time really establishing that, just talking to the county people, and we're like, well, what's the sound of a truck going by on the freeway? And what's it compared to? What's an excavator? How much noise does that make? And so there's kind of some guesstimating involved in it. So there wasn't really anything scientific coming up with that. But for sure at night, nobody's gonna be out there digging around.
And so it does say increase sound level to 80 decibels where resident district allows 58 decibels per nighttime. That's almost a 40% increase. And then I did see here it says rock crushing to occur within the mill building, possibly 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Right, so this is the building that's going to contain a mill, and a mill is a large device that rolls around, the rocks roll around inside it. And that can be somewhat noisy, but it's going to be contained in the building. And there again, we don't know exactly the noise that's going to come up with, but we more or less subjectively said it's louder than this, not as loud as that. But we for sure know that it's going to exceed the residential requirements. for residences.
Is this a lease?
Right, so our group has a lease with Searchlight Mercantile, which we've had the lease for, I guess, 8 or 9 years
How much longer do you have?
on the lease. Well, if we get going in mining, it's perpetual. As long as we're meeting our requirements to them, we have lease requirements to them, we have payments and responsibilities on our side. And as there's mining going on, we're gonna be mining through it. So the amount of mineralization that's there, it's estimated that's gonna take anywhere from 3.5, 4 years to 7 or 8 years to extract what's there and what's accessible. So the project, if all goes well, it's going to last 7 or 8 years. If there's more money spent on more shifts and better or faster machinery, then it may speed up the process. But it has a life. It has a mine life, as they call it. So in getting permits through the state of Nevada, we're required to put up a bond. And the bond is used if we happen to walk away and it needs to be reclaimed and taken care of. I don't know what else I could show you.
How much is the bond for?
Pardon me?
How much is the bond for?
The bond, the bond is still being calculated with them. And they have, on their site, they actually have tools for calculating and stuff, but we're coming up with around $300,000.
It's pretty cheap.
So understand, and I wasn't totally familiar with every aspect of this when I got into it, but it does not require us to restore the ground exactly the way it was. And frankly, you wouldn't want it, because if you go out there right now, there's historic dump piles. There's some abandoned pits that are there where you can still see the liner and stuff. It's really in kind of disrepair and everything. So when we're finished with it, we don't have to necessarily fill in the pits or remove some of the things that there, but there is a revegetation requirement. There is a requirement for the drainage, which is already in our permits to maintain that. There's a capping material that goes on the tailings that we put in there. So one of the biggest issues out there with that property, if you go out there on a windy day with the wind coming in from the west, you can be blinded by all that pink sand from the tailings that are there. So in doing the reclamation, we have to cap that to keep so that it won't blow around in the wind, kind of stuff.
If approved, when do you expect to start development?
Well, we're in a negotiation phase with a funding group. We have 2 different parties that are interested in it, and they were most interested in us getting this done immediately so that they could start fairly quickly, within months. I don't want to make any promises because we've had others come and others fail to make or fulfill their promises with the funding. But it could be as short as 4 or 5 months.
And I know you mentioned it earlier. What was the expected amount of jobs it was to provide?
So the way we're going to roll this out is we're going to begin with 1 shift per day, and with the rollout, we're going to require 3 to 4 jobs, and then the second, third month, we're going to need to double that. So one particular shift may have three people working in this building, and then it may have 3 to 4 people on the excavation crushing side. And then at nighttime, it'll be halved or less if we do multiple shifts. But there are plans that as things get going, within 5, 6 to 7 months, to roll into 2 and then into 3 shifts. Because once the processes are moving, which is the refining process inside the building, it's difficult to shut down and restart up and so on and so forth.
The town has a housing issue at the moment. If you weren't able to secure all the positions locally, would you be looking to bus people in or possibly like an employee housing situation?
I think we'd be willing to look at all of those. Yeah, housing is a real issue everywhere, including Vegas right now, and especially some of the more affordable housing is just non-existent in some of the communities. So I think that is a challenge with this or any project. And with the location that we're at and some of the zoning around there, putting in some extra housing, be it manufactured housing or smaller temporary housing, is a real possibility.
Would there be any way the board would be able to get this presentation emailed to us or print it out?
So this set right here was given to the county, and
Okay.
it should be available, but I can email it to you guys. It'd probably be easier if I just email it to you.
You can email it to me and then I can, and my email's on the agenda. So.
Okay, then you can distribute it.
Yeah.
I have a question for you. I agree with Kate on this one right here. First, you said there's not going to be 24-hour crushing.
Excavating and crushing.
Crushing, but now there is at your warehouse right there. How many of these properties do you have? So I'm sure you have more than one that has the same diagram right here. So you were not able to do any kind of testing outside of another facility to see how hot it's going to be?
No, not with the equipment that we have. So the equipment that we have, there's ratings for it, there's manufacturer's brochures and stuff.
What I'm saying though, do you have another property that has the same warehouse on there which has equipment that you're
No.
doing? This is all new to you.
Right. So our group is not part of a large mining company. This is individuals that came together, the same interest in this. So we are not a large mining company coming in here to do a large project. And quite frankly, with the size of the property and the amount of mineralization here, this property is not really it's not the type of property that the large mining companies are looking for. They're looking for thousands and thousands of acres and somewhere where they're going to be for decades. So it's a small group, it's a smaller investment.
Or would you want to live next to something like that? It's going to be 24-hour crushing plant?
Would I want to live next to it? No, quite frankly, I wouldn't. But I do need to say this. Searchlight and that particularly on the west side of the freeway over there in that little quadrant over there is a historic mining location. It should not be RS-80 zoning. It is not safe to put housing there. There is areas that have collapsed on our property. And the last collapse was only, I don't know, 2 years ago, year and a half ago or so, where there's an actual collapse. There's underground workings in these areas. There's open mine shafts still. There's adits, there's air vents that are within some of these locations. And there's, in some locations on our property and others, there's these tailings facilities. Some of them are in some small little metal huts. Some of them are just piled up, blowing around. There's drill casings from people that have drilled to explore the area that are still there, pipes there. There's things that are abandoned on the west side of our property. It's a minefield of buried cans, tin, glass, junk, all in there. Not to say you couldn't clear it off and build a house, but the whole area is really right now not suitable. Where the historic mines are not suitable at all for residential.
So you're
There-
talking about going 300 feet deep when you're done, you're not going to, just leave it the way it is, until you're finished.
No, there's reclamation that has to be done, but we're not gonna fill it in. We're not gonna restore it to the topography that it is now.
But how do you keep, like, as far as like children who are kind of walking around and falling into a 300-foot pit? I'm kind of curious, again,
There's-
rebar it, or are you going to cover it up?
There's-
That can't happen?
Yeah, so we have, with some of the state requirements, we have animal protection as well. animals, so there's berming requirements, there's slope requirements, there's drainage requirements, and at times there's fencing requirements that are required on that. But that is a good point.
Do we have any more questions out there? Okay. Oh, Sue?
Yes, at our next meeting, do you think they could have just a basic layout? Like here's the highway, here's where we live, here's where the project is, just a sketch for all of us people to, like, I would like to take a copy of the sketch home to my husband, who doesn't get out and about that much, but he wants to know what's going on where we live.
Scott, that's a good concern. The best illustration that we have right now would be like this, if that's showing large enough. So the housing is right here to the west of the freeway. So there's the large mountain right here, this range right here, and on the back side of it, down here is where this is at.
Okay, could
So-
you get a copy of that sketch, and just for the people at the next meeting to have?
I think what I can do is I'll break this one out and email you this one just on one page so you can distribute it if people want it.
I guess I
And
have.
anybody
to,
will
'cause
feel free to-
I don't have email, I don't have computers, I don't have any of that. And-
Anyone who wants to take any pictures too, feel free to come up and take pictures.
Never carried.
How far are you from the
Never
house?
carried.
Where's the closest house from you?
So this is the Bishop residence up here. It's about 2,000 feet from where the activity is. So what gives us the separation is the amount of land. In our particular project, we have 183 acres. So the adjacency right now is not a problem. And then the Blair residence is also about 2,000 feet away.
Do you plan to return to the town board at all, or will this be your last presentation?
I think we go in front of the city council.
Board of County.
Board of Commissioners.
On
July.
July 3rd.
Yeah. But I'm gonna email you guys this whole set.
Would anybody?
Oh,
who's
so
on
this
the
would be
board
where
able
your
to
buildings are at,
figure
right here?
that and-
Yeah, so we're right here.
Oh, so you're way south,
Yeah.
like
We don't
across
have a
from,
printer, but we can make it.
so across from the airport, if
We
you
can go
could
to,
explain
we'll
what
get
your
it. We
operation.
Right,
can go
maybe
to
you
the
can
library
explain
and
it
get
to
it.
these
Library.
Because, you've got Herbst up
Yeah,
here.
that's what I was thinking.
Right.
And then this,
So in
this
reality-
mountain is what I consider to give us a good sound block.
It's like if, this is where their operations would actually be, so they're actually like on par with the airport down here. The property is all up here too, but this is where they're at.
Sound will be all back here.
Right.
Yeah, so the sound would have to get up to the town
Yeah, there's
site.
Howard.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're
Okay.
past Howard's and towards the airport.
Martin, you wanna?
Yes, so to answer your question a little bit, Sue, looking at it closer, if everyone would please bring the conversations to an end. Sue, looking at that a little bit closer, there's a little pink area right there where the black arrow is going. And if you notice on the other side, so it's more in line with the airport. It's farther south, past Terrible's. Yeah. And if you're familiar with Howard's, it's farther south than Howard's as well.
But it's opposite side of the freeway?
It is on the west, so the opposite side of the airport.
It's gonna be 300 feet deep, how wide or how long is it?
So it may be as long as 600 feet along that vein. And the width will be similar. It'll be about 250 to 300 feet wide, 600 feet long, 400 feet deep. When we get finished with it, we have slope requirements we need to accommodate, so there will be some of that's filled in during the reclamation.
Do we have any more questions from the public? Comments?
You know roughly how wide the pit's gonna be?
Oh, we just covered that, but that's a good question. So 250 to 300 feet wide at the top, going down possibly to 400 feet at the bottom. Could be as much as 600 feet kind of in this direction going away or down this way. And as we do the reclamation, we have slope requirements for the reclamation. Then to answer someone else's question, we have berming requirements when we reclaim it, and possible other barriers and stuff like that.
Any more questions out there?
I assume Clark County, typically they review this and recommend it or don't recommend it. I assume they've recommended.
Staff has recommended approval, yes. Anybody else? Yes, and it'll also be at the Board of County Commissioners meeting, July 3rd. With any other concerns, anybody can go to those meetings, just like our meetings, and address their concerns and give those questions to the commissioners as well. So at this time, I'm going to close this to the public and open up the discussion just for the board. I do know I believe it was 2017, Rebel Mining was out here last. I know at that time, the community was very supportive of the project. I was just coming onto the board at the time. I still feel the same way based on this presentation. If we do move forward with approval, I would like to suggest that we put a 1-year review on the sound waiver of development. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts.
Yeah, I would agree. We love it out here. It's nice and quiet. It is a ways from the town, but there are people that live on the other side of the highway, obviously. We want to make sure their life isn't covered with sound out there, but it sounds like they've done their homework. A lot of times we have people come out and they haven't done it, and then they get in the process and it's dead in the water a lot of times before they even start. So thank you for doing the homework. But I don't have any other concerns other than what's been discussed already tonight.
Likewise. Keely, you have anything you'd like to add?
I don't mind at all besides the sound and the 24 hours and working at night or sound at night potentially. I think it's quite a big increase in decibels for nighttime activity. But if we can for sure say that there's going to be contingent on a 1-year review, it makes me feel better about it.
I agree with that. Absolutely. Well, and then I guess at this time, I'd like to make a motion of approval for the use permits for the following: mining, rock crushing, and gravel pit, and the waiver of development standards to increase the sound level with the condition of a 1-year review for the waiver of development standard. Say that right? Okay.
I'll second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed 3-0. Thank you for the presentation.
Just one comment, if I could.
Sure.
So at night, we're only working in the building.
Mhm.
And I believe that we can better sound insulate the building. Should be fine. That is too loud.
If you're approved through the commissioners, I would suggest doing that before your presentation at the commissioner meeting. All right, and moving on to general business, tonight we have none. Comments by the general public, a period devoted to comments by the general public about matters on this, about matters relevant to the board's jurisdiction will be held. No discussion, action, or vote may be taken on this agenda item. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Please step up to the speaker's podium. If applicable, clearly state your name and address, and please spell your last name for the record. If any member of the board wishes to extend the length of a presentation, this will be done by the chairperson of the board by majority vote. Any comments out there? Concerns? Anything? Okay. So our next meeting is July 10th, 2024, and I motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passed, meeting adjourned. Thanks for coming, everybody.
Those on the coyote, was they did over here?
Yes.
And also